Now, the argument of not being economically feasible applies to private developers with a profit motive. The same cannot be said of the county or any other government agency. They have different criteria. They undertake projects for county purposes, for public purposes, not to make a profit. Now, currently I don't have any evidence that there is any current plan for the county to develop the property, but consider something. Eventually, there are going to be new commissioners in charge. There will be a change of leadership. A good administrator would look to the county assets and try to utilize them to their fullest. Now, a new commissioner in the future could look at this 50-acre parcel in the middle of a residential area and think that this might be a great place for a county facility of some kind. Or they might want to promote low-income housing to meet the county's obligations in that regard. Remember something. If this goes through, the county owns the land. We don't own it. And there is no restriction whatsoever in this MSBU on what they can do with it. It is supposed to stay as a preserve. That's what they tell us. But there's nothing in the MSBU ordinance that actually says that in writing. In fact, it actually says the opposite. It says that the commissioners have the final say in any future project on the land. So, if you think that some future commissioner isn't going to change their mind on what's going to happen with this land, just look at the Serenova. That was supposed to remain green. We were told that, frankly, it was even in writing. But they're going to put a road through it. So don't tell me that they can't change their minds and do something later once they own the land. They own it, they control it, they make the decisions. Point and end of story. Now, let's take it one step further. This hypothetical future commissioner that wants to do something realizes that the county owns the land and reads the MSBU, and they realize something else. Not only can they change the use, do whatever they want because they own it and they're the commissioners, so they can change the laws. But when they read the MSBU, they realize the property owners in the subdivision would have to pay for it. Man, this is catnip to a politician. They already own the land, and it comes with a built-in funding source. Oh, excuse me. They don't require public hearings. They don't have to expropriate funds. They may not even have to show this on their county budget. Complete non-accountability. Man, it does not get any better than that for a politician. So, in my estimation, my opinion, the odds of having something built on this piece of land are much greater if the county ends up owning it. And on top of that, we might end up having to pay for it. Okay. Now, the next part of my presentation is actually going to be dealing with some of these boards. In particular, these four boards here that I've laid out. I'm going to be quoting from them. Now, all of this, these are emails and letters that we've obtained from the county. These are all public documents. They're in the public record. Any one of you can get copies of these directly from the county or using public information request. Now, granted, since the lawsuit was filed, the county's been kind of difficult about granting these public requests. They've been dragging their feet, in some cases, trying to deny the existence of documents, charging people for making these requests. So they're not making it easy. Now, that may be against the sunshine law, but that's a fight for another day. But legally, you can obtain these documents from the county. If you want to make the request and want to go through the hoops that they're making you go through, you can get them. So they're there if you want to look at them yourselves. If you want to verify, I'm going to be quoting from them. You can verify them. You can make sure I'm not taking them out of context. You have the entire document there. You can get copies. In fact, I'm even going to make life easier for you. If any of you want copies of these documents, I'll give them to you. If you just leave your email address with somebody at the front desk, and ask for them, I will just send you PDF copies of these documents that we've obtained. They're all in the public record. Everybody's entitled to see them. There's no secret there. Although, quite frankly, I'm sure a lot of people from the county never thought anybody would ever read them. Okay, let's just to reiterate who the players are in this deal, so you get the scope or the flavor of where we're going. As has been said before, the owner of the property is the Marshall Springer Trust and is represented by the law firm of Hobby and Hobby. The first mortgage, which is also called a lien, is held by the Orson Trust. Now, they're represented by attorney Frederick Reeves. Mr. Reeves, by the way, coincidentally, has the same office address as Hobby and Hobby. Interesting. Then there is a lien by Prudential Tropical Realty, which is Dewey Mitchell's company, and then following that, there's a lien which is actually held by Hobby and Hobby firm themselves. Now, at the purchase price of $1.2 million, that would seem to be just enough to pay all the lien holders in full. So, as I said before, this $1.2 million coincidence? I don't know, but it's a very significant number in any case. Now, you recall last year that when we were being asked to vote for this deal, we were told that we had to pay that $1.2 million because there was a buyer ready to buy it and build all kinds of projects ranging from single family to Section 8 housing. You've heard that a lot. Now, I'm actually going to show you the document. On my board, the first document there, item number 1, is the letter from Berkshire Hathaway to confirm that a developer was going to buy it. They say that a developer buyer was agreeing to pay $1.2 million cash for the property, and they also say that the owners did not formally accept the offer because they were negotiating with Pasco County to sell the property as a park. Okay. Now, we asked, as was mentioned, we asked for backup to that letter. We wanted to see the offer. Was it really an offer? Was it really a developer? Never got one. We never got any backup to that offer. No documents were produced. They wouldn't even give us the name of that alleged buyer. Now, again, I want to remind you that this letter was produced by an office of Berkshire Hathaway, which Dewey Mitchell has ties to. The same Dewey Mitchell that produced the appraisal of $1.7 million for the seller. The same Dewey Mitchell that has a lien on the property that he had paid if the property sells. A lot of coincidences. Okay, let's just think about this for a second. And I'm going to speculate and step into the seller's shoes for a second. So, I'm the seller now. I've been trying to sell this golf course at least since 2003. Now, I get a cash offer for it, for exactly what I need to pay off the liens. Now, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to tell the buyer, sorry, I don't want to accept your offer, because I want to give the county the opportunity to buy it at the same price. Now, I'm also willing to let the county go through its lengthy and uncertain procedures to see if they will even be able to buy it at all. Fine. I'm going to turn down a bird in the hand that I've been waiting for 13 years to take a chance that maybe the county will buy it. Yeah, right. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the lien holders that have been the major influences behind the scenes on just how this golf course has been handled over the years. The first thing I want to talk about is this golf course is flooded. Anybody who lives on the end of the golf course knows that. Homes adjacent to the golf course have flooded, and it's been an issue for a while. There is a letter that's on my board too. In January of 2013, Coastal Design Consultants writes a letter to Clyde Hobby, who represents the seller of the property. And they write, Mr. Hobby, on behalf of its client, Pasco County Stormwater Management, we have been asked to investigate and design stormwater improvements to alleviate potential flooding at the Gulf Harbors Golf Course and adjacent homes. Pasco County is requesting a 50-foot by 50-foot easement from the golf course property owner in order to accomplish these improvements. It goes on to say, these improvements are being proposed at no cost to your client. Think about that for a second. It was a freebie. Now, a few months later, in July of 2013, there's an email from the Public Works Department to Michelle Baker and Keith Wiley. Michelle Baker was the former county administrator. Keith Wiley is the head of ELAM. So this is an internal communication. And this employee from Public Works writes, last year we placed a pump to pump the course out as it was flooded and the surrounding residents complained. We have a design for a culvert to replace the pumps, but the owners would not give us an easement pending a purchase by ELAM. We have placed the project on hold, but if the golf course is purchased, the drainage will have to be addressed. Now, that was a few months after that proposal was put forward. Now, nothing happens for a while. Obviously, the flooding wasn't fixed. Now, in 2015, this is a couple of years later, Public Works writes a letter. It's an internal letter as well. They're communicating internally, but in this case, Commissioner Catherine Starkey is copied on the email. And Public Works says, at the time, we needed an easement from the golf course owner, and they were unwilling to grant the easement because they were in negotiations with ELAM to purchase the property and did not want to endanger the possible sale. I noticed it still does not belong to ELAM, so we will once again attempt to gain the needed easement. So they've been trying for 2 years now to get the property owner to agree to give them an easement so that Swiftmud can fix the flooding problems. And this wasn't going to cost them a nickel. Swiftmud was bearing the cost. They wouldn't do it because it might, to use his words, endanger the possible sale. Now, this is item number 4 on my board. You can read the letter in its entirety at your leisure. These are real. Okay. The next item that coulda, shoulda, woulda, is the golf course clubhouse. For years, this has been a potential hazard. Kids were playing there, the homeless took up shelter, and on and on. I think that we're extremely lucky that nobody's been hurt on that piece of property. Complaints have been filed, and even the Civic Association filed complaints, but nothing had been done. Now I think we know why. There's another email. This is item 5 on the board if you want to read it. This is from the Assistant to the Board of County Commissioners addressing an email to Commissioner Catherine Starkey in June of 2015. She says, earlier this year, the Gulf Harbor Civic Association filed a complaint with code enforcement about the clubhouse. Kids are going in and out, and it is dangerous. Clark is asking us to get community development to hold off for a bit to see if we can work out the larger deal. He says, any money they have to put into the site drives us further apart. Now, this is Clark Hobby that they're referring to, and they're referring to the possible sale of the golf course. If the county has to spend any money on that golf course, it's going to be an additional cost. It's going to have to be covered, and it's going to reduce the proceeds available to distribute to the lien holders.